Welcome to another episode of Hanging with the Huns with your host, Todd and Cariie Hun. Hey, y'all. Welcome to Hanging with the Huns on this beautiful Super Bowl Sunday. The game's going on right now, and the dogs are keeping track of the score because we don't really care about that kind of stuff. I'm Todd. I'm the host. This is Cariie, my lovely wife, co-host.
Hi.
Tonight we're talking about ideas, and I don't know if we had a title for this, but did we?
No, I don't think so.
No. All right.
We just
ideas.
We had an idea to talk about ideas.
Yes, we had an idea, or she had an idea. Actually, this was her idea.
I just thought we'd talk about how important it is to act on your ideas, especially if you've been thinking about an idea for a very long time, or when an idea pops in your head, or and then it becomes a dream, and then for so long it's just a dream. And for so many years I've just heard people say, follow your dreams. How many times have you heard that? Follow your dreams. Okay, so not everybody, but I guess, you get a dream, or you have a dream of either it's what you want to be when you grow up, or it's what you want to be when, just for a career dream of, being an artist or whatever it is. You just follow your dreams. Well, I guess I never really understood what that meant, as far as honestly, I can't say that I ever had really a dream per se. I've had many ideas, and I've had, many times I think of really good ideas, and I just think one day I'll do it, right? Like, you just think, like, I have an idea to do, oh, this would be a fun idea. Oh, this is a cool idea. And what if I did, this, that, whatever. I feel like so many years I've done that, and I've never acted on it. A few things I have, but I just feel like I've found myself doing that for so many years that I guess I never really understood how to capture that idea and actually make it happen. You know what I mean? So just recently, though, I guess because I am in a situation where I can actually focus on that more. And I think that's what it comes down to. You get an idea or a dream, you have this dream.
What do you mean? What are you talking about? What's different now that you're in a place where you can focus on it? What do you mean by that?
Okay, so for instance, whenever the kids moved out to go to college, that's when I start thinking about, okay, let me just go back a little bit. So I did have a dream. I would say when I was a kid, I've always wanted to grow up and get married and have kids. Okay, that was my dream. I didn't have like this goal to be a career woman, or, to find a career or go to college even. I didn't even, have that. I wasn't inspired to go to college or anything like that. My dream was to be a mom and get married and to have kids and to be a mom. So I did that. I feel like I have actually fulfilled my dream in that. Now my kids are older, and now I'm like, now what? So I think I just had this moment once they moved out that I'm thinking, now what am I going to do? I guess now I can really think about these ideas that I've had over the years, and maybe actually act on it or do it. And I thought about, and then there's that part that feels like, gosh, I could have probably been doing this all along, or, I could have probably just been doing this while I was being a mom. And I don't know, I guess I just kind of like, one day I'll do it. Or it's not knowing exactly what I want to do. So I have like all these ideas, but which one do I want to do? If that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
There's just so many things that I'll see somebody else doing, or I'll see something on social media, and I'm like, I could do that. That looks fun, and then, so then I'm thinking, well, okay, I got to think of something. There's got to be something that's for me. And, and that was one of the moments I had, probably about I guess this was about 6 months ago, probably, that I really thought about, okay, what would I enjoy doing? feel like I'm rambling on, but what I'm trying to get to is that there was a moment that I did have this breakdown, I guess you could say, because it got really emotional, and I, started to feel like, what is my purpose now that my kids are grown? And yes, I'm still a wife, but there's just that thing that you still want to do. That's like, there has to be something else I can do, right? I'm not just a wife, not just a mom, but
Right.
I should be able to figure out something to do. And I guess that's also inspired by you being so creative with your art, and, seeing, no, it's awesome. It's awesome to see how inspired
I've
you
made your
get.
dreams come true.
Yeah, well, I guess you could say that. Yeah. So, but what I want to say is, I've seen you with your art. I've seen how it makes you happy. I mean, even with drumming, I feel like you find these things that you really want to do, and you just do it. And I'm like, I want to know. I guess I'm like, I kind of want to find that. And so,
So let me interrupt.
okay.
So I feel like me personally, like I am the complete opposite of what, not in good or bad. It's not good or bad. It's just how my mind is. I'm completely opposite of that. I feel like I am living in a dream world. I'm constantly in a dream world where I'm thinking of things, and I'm seeing things, and they're like, I've heard it said where ideas are like life forms. They're like entities
Yes.
that are out there in the universe or whatever, and they're basically, coming down and trying to find their host, or whoever's gonna bring those things to life or bring them to life.
Mm-hmm.
And you can accept them and be like, okay, I can try to do this, or you can say, no, I can't do that, and then those ideas move on and they go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like we've been talking
So,
about the book you're reading
right.
right now.
Okay.
And
So but that also brings up that you got to be either looking for it, or be attentive to that. Because what I'm saying is, I had a moment where I was like, I just haven't really, like, there's people that meditate, and the meditation time that usually brings those ideas to you, or that really, people say opens your mind to, um, to, what do you call it? The universe. Some people say there's a certain way, some people say, anyway, it just allows you to really be mindful of um what more you can do instead of just living your life,
and
and how you can give back to the world, and what you can use your gifts and talents for,
right.
right? And everybody, I believe, has gifts and talents. They either don't know it yet, or you're just not really paying attention to it. So anyway, when I was thinking in that moment, which I guess you could call it a meditation, or you can call it, I was praying to, like, show me what I'm here for. What is my purpose? Like, I want to do more, right? There's got to be more to this
Right.
life. I mean, I've raised my kids. They're out doing their own thing now. We're doing our thing, but what is it that is for me? And so, yes, I didn't realize that I was probably missing so many opportunities, probably missing all those ideas that were probably waiting for me to capture. So, yes, like a book that I'm currently reading, which has been amazing, and I'm almost done with it. I think I have like a couple chapters left, but it's called Big Magic, and it has really helped me understand what it means to really just be creative, because it encourages you to be creative. Basically, living beyond fear is what it says. It's creative living beyond fear. So basically, I felt like I've held myself back from having the opportunity to be creative, and to tap into my creativity and to my talents and skill that I know I have deep down, but I've ignored it, or I just haven't really been um tuned tuned to it, because I've just either been distracted, or I've been saying, no, I can't do that. I have that
Well,
negative
here's the
mindset.
thing though, in your defense, like, so me, in the business I'm doing, lawn business, my the bread and butter, um I don't necessarily like doing that. I would rather not do that at all and rather just create art.
Yeah, that's what
but
everybody says.
But I have been very fortunate because it gives me, the whole day riding around on a lawnmower on autopilot, but that's meditation, and it's been very good for that part of my how my mind works, and just part of our life, because I'll be listening to podcasts, all day when I'm mowing the lawn, and it's constant meditation. I'm like meditating on things like, oh, I want to try that, and then I'll really concentrate on it. Well, and I was to a point where I was kind of like what you're saying about kind of wanting something else. I mean, I've been playing drums pretty much my whole life since I was 14. So music's always been there, and it's always been a huge part of my life. But it's almost like it's just like an outlet that's always been there. And I've been, I wanted something new. I wanted to start doing some kind of art or something, and I remember I specifically was praying for, God, just show me something that I can do that's like inspiring. And because we have so many friends that are artists, and they're so inspiring, you see their work, and I'm just like, man, I wish I could do that. I don't want to do what they're doing because I don't want to,
Right.
like rip people off or anything like that. But I'm like, I see their art, and I'm like, man, their art inspires me to become like that, with something else. So I'm like, well, what do I have? What am
All
I
my
going to do?
wine bottles that were laying around doing nothing, so
Well,
you took a bait of
and that's
art.
the thing is, like, I remember we were at a like a little I think we were playing one of my bands that I play drums in. We were playing like this little church fall festival, and I saw those um wind chimes made out of like different bottles and wine bottles and this and that. I was like, that is so cool. I could totally do that, and that's what inspired Toddle's Bottles. And when I started doing that, then I was like, well, I don't really want to do wind chimes because this guy has, I just don't want to be ripping people off. So I started to think of all these other things.
Well, it's not
to
ripping
do.
people off.
I know,
just
but
feel like somebody else is already doing that, so you don't want to do the same thing.
Yeah, I just want to be. I want to be authentic or unique. I don't want to be something that is like counterfeit or something like that, And
Right.
I kind of feel like that when I was doing the same exact thing. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna put my mind into it and make it something else. So that's when I started doing all the crazy lamps and mirrors, and I mean, all kinds of crazy stuff.
You let your creative juices flow.
But I do get things, and it's not dreams. A lot of people say, oh, how did you dream that up? Or I got it in a dream. And I was thinking about that, and the ideas that I get, they don't come in dreams. They come usually at 3 a.m. That's like right around that time of night. And I'll wake up and I'll be like, why am I up? And I'm just like, I can't go back to sleep. So then I'm like, all right, you trying to tell me something? Is there something, that I should be figuring out? And that's usually when I get these ideas. It could be anything. Like I did that Jägermeister bottle on the mirror. Where I'll show a picture, but that was like a download. I was like, oh,
yeah, it's funny you say
I'm gonna do it just like that.
I've heard that
before. And I did that one, and then I like the other the UV cactus one. That one came in like a night. It's not a dream because I'm awake, so it's like a twilight time
it's like
night.
What you're saying. It's these ideas that are just floating around in the cosmos.
Yeah, it's like, but you're open at that time. It's like you're very it's like, receptive.
Oh, look, there's a person that wants to take. Oh,
there he is. He's awake. beam down the ideas. So I get a lot of ideas from that time at night, and that, whatever kind of not really a feeling. It's just like a twilight, It's like you're in between sleep and being
Well,
awake.
do you think
Bug on me. No, but there's an ant on me. Sorry.
okay, do you think that is because you are you're in a time where you're not distracted by anything. You're not vulnerable, but you're just there, and because you're being receptive, you're getting the ideas. Because
Yeah.
I feel like, and just the reason I say that is because um the way my mind is, and I'm really working on it to try not to be this way anymore, but it has always been, I guess because of anxiety, stress, I allow it to get to me to where it affects my mind. So my mind is constantly just bombarded with what I have to do. It's almost like constant listing of I have to do this, I have to do that. And so that's all I'm thinking about. And that's not good, especially for a creative mind. And then that makes you feel, and then you have that stress, and then it makes you feel depressed, because then you're like, I really should be doing something, but I don't know what it is because I've just been so stressed and just so my head's just been clogged with it all. And so I've been trying to work on that and not be so stressed and not let my anxiety. Well, I have certain things that I've used to help me get rid of the anxiety and the stresses. So, whether it's meditation or supplements or exercises, I've found that I've tried those things, and I've found that some things have worked. And when I have been able to not feel that stress and not be anxious, I've allowed myself to really think about it, and think about what it is that I want to do. Because I do feel that I feel there is a tug of like I could be doing something more than just working my, everyday job. So using my time more wisely, doing something that's can be beneficial to myself, my health, mentally, but also to others. So that's what I'm looking for. And so I'm really excited because I feel like I'm finally starting to, I get, you know what? I think it's also like, I don't get too much into that whole cosmos stuff where they talk about the third eye and all that. But it makes sense when I read about things like that or hear about it. It's like, the calcifying of the eye. So when you decalcify it, it allows you to be more creative, I think. And it makes sense because I feel like maybe that's what I'm doing and I don't even realize, or I don't know what all that means. But I do feel like I'm starting to allow myself to be more mindful of the time that I can just relax and let those ideas come in, because I have experienced probably for the first time that moment. And it was when I was reading this book. I mean, this is a book I was in a thrift store. We were walking through this thrift store, and I'm looking at all these books on the shelf, and you know how overwhelming that can be, because it's just like, I don't even know where to start. Are these even in order? So I'm just looking through, and I'm just like, doop. And there was two books I found, and they have both been really good, but this one is by far the best so far. Um, and I just picked it up, and I felt like this is going to be a good book, and it has been amazing. So,
That's like, I mean, it's kind of
it
the
was meant
same
to be. It
thing.
like wanted me
Exactly.
to find it.
It's like serendipity. It's the same thing as me receiving something in the middle of the night. Well, you're wanting that, and so you're out there, and it's whatever the medium is that God is going to use to show you, hey, here, take this book right here and that book, and
Yeah.
that'll have some
Well,
good information in it. So, but so what inspires you though? I mean, because like I have, there's like I get inspiration, like I said, through other artists, and then music is a big inspiration. Like certain types of music
mm-hmm,
will bring in ideas to me where I'm thinking of, whatever. It could be a art piece or a different, song or idea for a song maybe.
mm-hmm,
But then I have like like Shakedown Street, like, or festivals, like those kind of things.
yeah.
They're probably the most other than YouTube. YouTube is like because it's so easy. I mean, we can't go to festivals every day. You can turn YouTube on
Yeah.
at any time. But when we're walking through like festivals and stuff and looking at the different booths and tents and everything, I mean, that to me, like, I get so many
get
ideas
inspired by that. Yeah, of course.
from that. And I mean, they're, it's just like inspiring to see all the different kind of like creative thoughts that these people have. And and but basically, so like what kind of things inspire you to want to do stuff like that?
So after I had that moment where I was like, I really feel like there's something I need to be doing, but what is it? And I'm like, I don't even know where to start. I really did not feel inspired. I didn't feel like it wasn't clear what I wanted to do, but I felt like I'm saying, like, here, I'm ready to do something. Well, of course, that's when the idea came to be your partner in this, doing the podcast. And so of course that's been a great thing. It's been awesome. And so this, but with taking that step and because doing this, and I will say that I was nervous about it. I didn't know if I was going to be good at it, or I don't know if I'm good at it. I just know that I enjoy it, or we enjoy it. And I think it's also allowed me to be more, I guess it has inspired me to do more for myself. And, what else can I do? Because you also have your art that you're still doing and you're creating. And that's been inspiring to me because, like I said, I love to see how inspired you are and, how creative you are with your art. That, anyway, I get to the point too where, and this has been what's held me back also before, is I tend to think, well, I'm not an artist. I can't paint. I'm not really a painter. I'll go through a list of all these things I can't do. And I was doing that before. Right. Now I'm learning that I can do whatever I want. And,
exactly.
And this book, I'm telling you, has just changed my mind in so many ways for the positive. It's like she basically, she's just a writer. I mean, she's a writer, but she believes that writing is creative. It's an art.
Her outlet.
And so no matter what and so she's like, we were all made to be creative. We all have something that we're talented or have skills for, and God had made us in his image, right? He's a creator. If we are created in his image, we are creators. Whether we create art, whether we create books, stories, whatever it is that we want to create. So it's just trying to find, or it's just realizing what your skill is and your talent is. And that is where I've learned also, that's where I learned about the ideas. So what you said about how ideas are in the, just waiting to find their host. Well,
hold on. Hold on. Because I want to say something about what you just said about I can't draw or I can't paint. That is like my biggest pet peeve. And it's not just you. It's, I hear it all the time. Oh, I can't really play drums or anything, but I really admire that or something like that. It's like, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying if everyone had that attitude, I mean, I hate to okay, look at Kurt Cobain. Does he have a beautiful operatic, voice or
Bob Dylan?
Yeah, I mean, but look at their art. They're like the greatest. And they really can't sing, I mean, I don't know. I'm going to get hell for that. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, they don't have like the perfectly
I don't think he
tuned
has the best
voice. Yeah, exactly. But he's like the greatest artist of all time,
exactly.
And I mean, look at who is it? Jackson Pollock, the artist with all the big crazy art. It's like splashes of paint, but it's amazing to people. And I'm just like, okay, hey, whatever floats your boat.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. That's
it's basically what I'm saying is everyone has a talent. Everybody has the ability to do it.
That's
and it's when they say I can't, that they're just going to stay in that
Yes.
I can't do it. Well, you're never going to be
Okay,
able to
look,
do it if you keep saying you
I
can't.
brought that up because that
No, I
was
know, I
me.
know, I know, I
And
know. And
I
you've
was
changed
doing
a
that to
lot.
myself. And it's because I've looked into, I've had people inspire me. Okay, there before this book, there was also a couple of ladies on Instagram that I would come across, and I started to follow them, and I started to like they were very inspirational. And where it comes to like just do your thing, find what makes you happy, and you just do it. And it's just like over and over, I'd hear like it was almost like okay, well, what am I gonna do?
Well, it's kind of like
but
it's
I've
get
changed from I
started,
can't do it to now what do I do? And I will find my
or
way.
at
I will
least
find
give
it.
it a try. I mean, like this
Yes.
podcast, this whole studio was some
Yep.
crazy idea I had, and
Another
I actually
inspiration.
drew it out from a thought I had, and I drew it out exactly how it is, and it's just a piece of the big puzzle. It's like everything we're doing is going towards something.
And
Who
another
knows
reason
what
why
it is,
you
but
have inspired me, because I see your steps you're taking. I see how you aren't, I mean, we're not the same there. We haven't been, because you are that person that like, why not, and do it. I'm more reserved. I'm the more like cautious, reserved. I'm not going to jump into that. That's no way. That's crazy. And, but I,
you
it,
don't have to be. You keep saying that to yourself, but all you have.
honey, I'm trying to tell
I know.
you that was me in the past. You're
I
not
know.
listening.
I am listening. I know.
Anyway, I'm saying that so you can see how much I've changed and how different it is. And obviously you should see that, but
Yes,
that's why I'm talking
I
about it,
do.
because my point is that has been me. I am the most cautious person, and there's even times that I'm like, no, you probably shouldn't do that, whatever. But I've learned from just hearing these other people that have been there too and afraid to do it, that they just like had to look. Here's the thing: we all worry about what other people are going to think. That is one of the
That's
things
true.
too, because it's like I think, what are they going to think if I start painting? I can't do that, but I could do that maybe. I mean, I've painted some
It's
things.
like
And
imposter syndrome.
Yes,
I have that big time. You
and
wouldn't think so, but I
yes, I know
definitely
you've
have
told
that.
me that before.
Yeah.
But the point is, you got to get past the I can't, because it's not about I can't. Another thing I've heard, and this is a few people I've heard say, is like, it's not. You shouldn't say I can't. You should say maybe it's not the time, or maybe not right now. I can, but just not right now. Just
Yeah. Or
or
I can
it's
give it a try and
yeah,
see
or
where it
try
goes.
exactly. Like what's
That's
Yoda say that?
what does he say? Do not. No
There is
try,
no
only
try.
do. There
Only
is no
do.
try. There is no try, only do.
Anyways, anyway,
Sorry,
so
that's the best Yoda I got.
I have been inspired by some people that I've just been hearing, just saying, hey, just do it. Just don't let it hold you back. Anymore. Like it's just. Anyway, I was just like,
Yeah,
okay,
and
yeah,
I
it's
mean, you're
encouraging. And
doing
so
it.
then I get this book, and I'm like, I was in tears, and like 4 pages in the middle of this book, and I was reading through 4 pages that just had me in tears, because it was all about like how it was just so inspiring to hear that, what, we all are creative, we all have skills, we all have talents. You have to find yours to just do it, and just try it. If you think that you are a writer, just write some things and just keep writing. So what if people don't like it or whatever? And
Yeah, exactly.
it's, if you feel that you want to do whatever that art is or whatever that creative thing is, just do it. And you don't have to quit your job to do it.
Right.
I mean, that's another thing. She's like, I worked all my jobs.
You don't have to wait. That's like waiting. That's like waiting for kids. Well, we're not ready. We're not financially ready, or whatever. We're not in the place. It's like what's the movie Idiocracy, where all the ones intellectuals in the beginning, they're like, well, we're not ready financially, we got to wait for our 401k or whatever to mature, and then they end up not having kids. Well, I mean, that's it's the same thing with ideas. If you just kind of wait for the right time, you're probably not gonna, it's probably gonna go, I'm gonna go to somebody else.
Yeah, well, let me get to that too, because another thing that was inspiring, I forgot about this, was green lights. When we
Oh
listened
yeah,
to the
that's a
Green
great
Lights,
book.
Matthew McConaughey, oh my gosh, that totally inspired me too. Because it's like when you just hear people just like, it's just so encouraging to know, like, you know what, we don't have to feel like we're stuck. Like, and that's the thing too.
Yeah.
I felt like I was stuck, and I felt like I was where do I go from here? So that listening to that book was very inspiring. And
Livin.
yeah, it's like just live, do what you want to do what makes you happy, do that thing. It could inspire others, or it could be like motivate others to do what they want to do. It's like
Yeah.
we only
That's
have
what
so
he
much
did. I
time.
mean, he was like, sure, why not? You
Yeah,
know?
we only have so much time, so it's like
Exactly.
do it. Like just it's like I don't know, like stop holding
Don't wait
back.
till you're
Quit holding
50.
back. Quit holding back.
Yeah, quit holding back.
I hear that too. So it anyway, so then also reading this book, it was
That's Wayne Jimerson, by the way.
it was so anyway, the idea thing. So she was saying like how and I want to just say this because you hear things like that and it's like, oh, okay, I get it. But the way she explained it was she had this idea to write a book, and she was writing the book for months. Like she had, or like for a while, she's writing the story. Specifically had it all, like the character, the whole thing, right? But something happened. She put it away for like a couple months, and she had to deal with some things in life. It happens. You have this idea, or you're working on something, and then you have to put it on hold, or do whatever. So after that, she comes back, and she comes back to her book, but the idea wasn't as inspiration at the time, or it wasn't as inspiring or motivating, or she didn't have that passion anymore. And it was kind of like, I guess I'm just gonna move on to something else for now. Well, then she meets this other writer that she loves and adores, and then she's talking to her about they're writing they're getting ready to write a new book. And they're like, oh, what is it? Oh, I don't know yet. I'm still kind of working on it. And then they don't talk for a little while. And so at this point she has written it. And so they meet again, and she goes, okay, tell me about your book. She goes, well, tell me yours first, because you didn't tell me what you were working on before. And so she's like, okay, well, it was da da da, and she tells her story. And then she go and the girl that has written the book, though, because the other girl hadn't, she put it away, right? So the other writer says, that is my story, word for word. Like the whole character, the whole story that was about was like, how can you what? And she goes, I don't know, but that is my story. I mean, yes, I changed the character's name, or I mean, there was like little details, but it was exactly the same story. And
That's
she's like,
great.
how is that even possible? So then she says, like, I could have gotten mad because I'm going to be like, and she ended up reading the story. She told her like whole story, and she's like, that is crazy. It's almost like she stole her story, what she felt. She could have thought that. And there's a million things that she could have thought and blamed her or whatever, but she really believes that is that idea thing. Her idea came to her. An idea can stay with you, but then if you ignore it, or you don't pay attention to it, you give that passion to it, and you don't continue with it, that idea can move on. And like you say, it's like an entity or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But when I hear that story, I'm like, that is something that actually really happened. And I'm sure it's happened to a lot of people. It's people who think that your inventions are being stolen because, oh my gosh, that was my invention, I should have done that.
Oh,
But
yeah,
somebody else
totally.
came up with it. And it's like, it's because, and now I'm a believer, there are ideas that are out there. And I believe God has these ideas that he wants to, they're gifts. And he wants to give these gifts to all of us, and they're just out there floating around. And that's when you meditate, or when you pray, or when you just get in that moment where you're just like waiting for, like, you're waiting for the idea, you're waiting for the inspiration, and then it pops in your head.
It's
And
like
as
fishing.
I'm reading this book and reading this, I'm having ideas pop in my head, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's like you say, the downloads. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like being so inspired right now. I have so many ideas. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't even wait to do this. So you write them down so you don't forget them. And then you just really have to go back and you got to act on them, or you got to do it, because otherwise I think that is what
Well,
happens. It moves on to somebody else who is out there
but
waiting to do it
also
too.
you have to, I think you really have to concentrate, because if you take them all in,
Yeah.
you're going to get overwhelmed.
Okay, yeah, it's
And
not every idea, but
so you have to take one or a couple and work on those and see how they develop. And if you're getting, if you're liking what you're doing and it's bringing you, happiness,
yeah.
then you keep going and you develop it from there and see where it goes. If that one doesn't work, then kick it to the curb and take another one out of the book. That's kind of how I've been, and I can do. I'm kind of very ADHD, so I'm doing like a million different things at once.
Yeah, and that's probably what I'm talking about there. But
you'll get
that idea that
overwhelmed if you're not
you'll know.
careful.
There's that one though that sticks with you, and it's the idea of what you want. Like I'm just talking about. So for instance, like if you're going to write a story, that idea that comes to you for a story, that's what I'm talking about. You just go with that, or you get an idea of something you want to create, go with that, and and give it, and if it isn't really, and it might not be for you, because I mean apparently there are ideas that do come to you and you go with it, and then it's just like and it's not really for you. Maybe the idea thought it would be for you, maybe it thought you wanted it, but then that's okay too, because then that's when it moves on to the right person. And that's what she believed that story came to her. She was excited about it, she liked it, but she believes that it went on to her because the other writer, because it was meant for her. So sometimes ideas can come to you, and then there's a reason why you don't get passionate about it, or you don't move on, continue with it, because it's just meant for somebody else. And so it does go on to somebody else.
That's a good way to look at it.
And that's kind of
I don't know if I believe that or not, but
I feel like it's the same thing. Like, okay, so
it's like if you're, I understand that, it's meant for somebody else, but
it's just like when it's opportunity. If you don't take an opportunity, it's going to be there for somebody else. So
true.
You could either take an opportunity, and if you feel that it's right and that's meant for you, then it's going to be meant for you. And I'm just saying, like, it's just a cool idea to think of it or it's a cool concept to think of how ideas can be, and how many times we've just kind of ignored ideas that could have been something that was for us, and then it just moved on to somebody else who was ready to take it. And
that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's like it wasn't meant for her, but she just slacked on it, and so the next fish came along and saw the bait and took it. So that's kind of how I see it.
Well,
it could be. That person could have. It could have been meant for that person only. If you think about it, it's like
Well, the reason I say that is because the way she went through those feelings, like she could have been upset about it. She could have,
there's
she
no
could have
reason
blamed her, but that was one of the feelings too. She could have beat herself down, thinking I didn't work hard enough, and so it left me. But no, she didn't believe that was it either. She believed that it just wasn't for her, wasn't time. It wasn't her time to write that story. That story was meant for her, because it ended up being perfect story. When she read it, it was great. So that's what I mean.
Lady,
yeah.
the other
and
person.
So I'm just saying, like, that I love that way to think about it, because you don't have to beat yourself down about it. Doesn't mean that you didn't do it. You didn't give it enough time. She had a situation that came up that she had to deal with in life that she couldn't do it. And so there was no reason to beat yourself up for it if you don't, and if it doesn't work out. It's just with anything, so,
hopefully my book works out.
But there are
I'm getting to that point.
Yeah, but there are times that you do just want to, you do want to pay attention to those times that you get those ideas, and don't just ignore it, because it could be one of those big things for you.
That's what I'm saying.
It gives you joy. And
just because it's difficult doesn't, I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about life in general. I think some things are difficult, and so people generally, they're like, it's too hard. Like this book that I'm doing, I don't know anything about writing a book, and so I'm getting to the point now where I don't know what I'm doing. So it's almost like I'm like,
you got to persevere. That's another thing.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to just give up on it, but so I need to crack the whip.
But there's a story about that too, where there was a writer that he was like a journalist or something, but he was like kept writing his things and doing this, and everybody kept, it just like was negative, and he went to a famous writer, somebody who he looked up to, and he asked him, he's like, so what would your advice be? Because I feel like every time I brought something up to my work brought up, and it's just like turned down, no, not good enough, whatever. So many times you feel like you just want to give up. And he goes, don't tell me to persevere again, because then I just don't want to hear that. It would be like, just no. And he goes, okay, I won't tell you persevere, but I will tell you that you should probably stop what you're doing, take a minute, Go travel. Go do something that makes you happy. Go, because it sounds like this is like just killing you. And so it's like, just go do something else, then come back to it. Only if it's drawing you back, only if you feel like that is what you need to do, like that is what really actually does make you happy, and then go back to it after you've had a break, right?
Yeah.
So it's okay, and that's another thing I always hear: it's okay to take a break, just don't quit, right? So then he says, and then come back to it. But if you come back to it and it's still making you miserable, I would say quit.
Yeah.
but and then he's like, or if it's just you're finding yourself it still makes you happy and you still want to keep going, then I'm gonna say persevere. But I mean, there are times that it is gonna get hard, it's gonna get difficult, and I hear that you just persevere, just push through and get it done. And hey, if it ends up not being the best, that's okay, then you just keep going. But as long as it makes you happy, I think that is, especially when it comes to creativity, something that you're doing that's being creative from your mind, and you're creating something that makes you happy. That's what the main thing is. If it's not making you happy, then it's like, don't do it.
And don't compare yourself.
Yeah.
Because like not everybody's going to be a Banksy or Bob Dylan. I was thinking about that when I watched that movie. I was like, there's like human beings that are so, I don't know. It's like they're like superhero characters almost, not to lift them up like that, but you know what I'm saying? Like Jerry Garcia, like everyone knows who Jerry Garcia is, his art and everything, his creativity, Bob Dylan, he's a good example, but they're like next level humans, it's almost like they just, you know what I'm saying?
Not really, because I don't see people like that.
I know you don't.
I just see people are people. People are people. He's a great artist. He's great. That doesn't mean that you can't be great. You never know what you're going to do. You could be great, or maybe you're not. But it doesn't.
Just don't compare yourself.
Just enjoy creating.
Seriously, yeah.
That's what it's all about. If it makes you happy, you create. That's what
makes you happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's funny because both of these books that I read, that I found both of them at the thrift store, they both talk about Marcus Aurelius. Apparently that's an inspiring philosopher for a lot of people. And I was just like, one of his quotes that I got from it, it's really good. It's the quote says, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." And I love that. And it's like, to just remember to think of on that every morning is just like, it is a precious privilege for anybody to be able to just grateful. Wake up, and exactly. It's funny because it's in the Grateful book, the book that's about being grateful that I'm reading, and then and then the Big Magic book that I'm reading, it's about being creative. So just being grateful, period, will help you be more creative, I think.
Yep. And watch YouTube, because there's so much.
I don't know, because you say some YouTube's gonna get you stressed out, or like it's overwhelming because
politics or something.
No, I'm talking about the people that try to tell you how to do things.
Oh yeah. Because everybody has their opinion on. That's just when you're buying something or looking for something, researching a product.
Yeah, everybody has it.
No, but I'm talking about like for inspiration. There's so many people on YouTube doing all these crazy things, and it's like they inspire you. Like the mushroom mirror.
Oh yeah.
That was some girl on YouTube, and I was like, that's freaking awesome. I wanted to do that myself. And so it's just inspiration.
Well, it's also
not copying. She copied somebody anyway. So
it's also, there's all those the videos you're watching, Stoic. What's it? Which is, I think, more Marcus Aurelius, the philosophers, like turned into, or
Stoicism.
Created that or whatever, and it's the Stoics or whatever.
Yeah,
it's very inspiring to hear.
There's a lot of inspiration on there.
Yeah,
on YouTube, not TikTok. Stay away from TikTok.
I don't even have TikTok.
Kids, get off the TikTok. Yeah, but no,
I mean, there's influencers, and then there's one that, you have all the influencers, and I remember thinking that word was like, oh my god, influencer, and I was like, I don't want to be an influencer. What is that? Like, I mean, you see all these like annoying people on on Instagram.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about them.
But there are a lot of people that are influential in good ways.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I appreciate those people who get out there and they just want to inspire. I just want to be positive, and they speak positive words and all that. And anyway, and so it's not all bad. They're not all annoying.
Like
there are
Brittany.
some, but yeah. Oh, hey, you know what? She's doing what makes her happy. All that spinning.
Hey, I want to shout out to Katie for this shirt was one of her ideas. So people have awesome ideas.
I'm telling you, I love Libra Katie
tie dyes on Instagram. Go get it. This glows in the dark. There's little planets and stuff. I love her tie dyes. They're awesome. And then that cup right there, that's an idea from Mike and Angie from Goodwood Band. They made it for me. See that? It's wood grain. That was their idea. Pretty cool, huh?
I love it. I tell you what.
We got ideas all over.
For music and art, just that to me is just what makes life so like colorful.
Drink cold.
You know? It's like I love that we have people that create art and create music, and I just that to me is just music makes me happy. You know,
like creative people.
Art makes me happy. I do too. I love
no matter
creativity.
What you're creating.
And I want to see people create. And that's why I wanted to talk about this, because I really want to encourage, you know, if you have that feeling, that idea of creating something, do it.
Yes.
We want to see it.
Turn YouTube on and get inspiration.
I've been inspired. I am looking forward to create some things. I have some ideas that I'm working on, and I'm going to be starting. That's one of those things that these ideas are popping in my head, and I was just like, oh my gosh, it's such a great feeling of like, oh my God, I love this. It's happening. I know what people are talking about now, because I'm willing to take these ideas, and I'm just like, all right, I'm ready. Let's do this. So I'm really excited about ideas that I've been having, and I'm going to go with it, and I'm just going to see what happens.
Y'all are going to love it.
So stay tuned. Yeah. So I think that's really what we just wanted to talk about, just how ideas and inspirations have been alive around us lately. And I'm so grateful for it. Grateful that we've been able to do this podcast, and looking forward to the other things that we're going to be getting involved with. And yes. And I hope it inspires others.
Just keep creating and create and create.
Yes. Yeah. Less consuming and more creating.
Yeah.
I guess. We have enough. I don't know. I guess we could still consume just, what do you call that? It's
consume
conservatively.
Music festivals.
Yeah. What I mean is, we want to see your authentic creativity. If anyone who's listening that you feel inspired to create, that's what I'm talking about. I'm inspiring everybody. I'm wanting to inspire myself to create more. So.
Yep.
And don't be afraid to do it. Okay, that's all. That's all I got.
All right.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
Is the Super Bowl over yet? Probably not. Anyway,
it's probably it's probably halftime.
We're gonna go watch the commercials. But so anyway, thanks for watching.
Please hit
like and subscribe, please. Yes. It helps us out tremendously. And we love how everybody's been responding to the videos and commenting and leaving their remarks. And it's fun. Yep. We love it. We're going to keep doing it. And we'll have some merch soon. But anyway, love y'all.
Bye.
See you next time.